Hello, Africa, brothers and sisters. Donald Trump is more than just a president of United States of America.
The world woke up to a proposal that could reshape global power forever. A proposal so bold, so controversial, that it has left leaders stunned and nations divided. President Donald Trump has reportedly proposed a new global authority called the Board of Peace, a body that would control international security, conflict resolution, and geopolitical stability.
My plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace. Sort of a beautiful name, the Board.
It's the Board of Peace, and I think it will go long beyond Gaza and the Middle East. I can see that going long beyond. There'll never be anything like this in terms of, I know you all have wonderful boards, but this is going to blow it away. It's going to blow them all away, and it's going to do some really good.
This is not the United Nations. This is not collective leadership. This is a system where power has a price tag, $1 billion. For Africa, this proposal raises uncomfortable but necessary questions. Can Africa afford this system? Should Africa even participate in it? Or is this the moment Africa finally stands on its own? According to reports, the Board of Peace would function as a global decision-making authority for conflicts and security. It would claim to reduce bureaucracy, act faster than existing institutions, and enforce peace through decisive leadership. However, unlike the United Nations or the UN Security Council, this board would be fully controlled by the United States. President Trump would serve as chairman, with final authority over membership approvals, funding decisions, conflict resolutions, operational control. No decision would pass without U.S. approval. This means global peace would no longer be negotiated, it would be managed. To secure a permanent seat on this board, countries would be required to pay $1 billion up front. This payment would supposedly fund peacekeeping, diplomacy, and security infrastructure. Only nations able to meet this financial threshold would enjoy long-term influence, voting power, and strategic privileges. Wealth would determine voice. Money would determine permanence. Smaller or poorer nations would be left with rotating seats, limited influence, or total exclusion. This raises a serious moral question. Should peace belong only to those who can afford it? Under this proposal, President Trump would hold unprecedented personal authority. He would approve members, oversee all funds, and possess final veto power on every decision. Supporters argue this structure ensures efficiency and strength. Critics warn it concentrates too much power in one individual and one nation. History has shown us that when power is centralized without balance, the result is rarely peace. It is control. The Kremlin has confirmed that Vladimir Putin has been invited to join the Board of Peace. Russia is reportedly studying the proposal and exploring further engagement with the United States. This signals a potential shift in global alliances. A new world order may be forming, one driven by financial power rather than international consensus. And Africa is watching from the sidelines. Here's the hard truth. Many African nations struggle to fully pay their African Union membership fees. Health systems are underfunded. Infrastructure gaps remain massive. Youth unemployment is widespread. So the question becomes unavoidable. How can African countries afford $1 billion for global peace when basic needs at home remain unmet? Would Africa borrow money just to sit at a table where decisions are already controlled by others? And if African nations did pay, would this board solve African problems for free? Or would Africa once again pay for promises that never materialize? Leaders like Burkina Faso's President Ibrahim Traoré symbolize a growing resistance to externally controlled systems. Across the continent, Africans are questioning dependency, foreign dominance, and unequal global structures. This proposal exposes a painful reality. Africa is often invited to global tables only when payment is required, not when power is shared. Some ask whether the Board of Peace could replace the UN Security Council. But replacing one flawed system with another that openly favors wealth and unilateral control does not solve injustice. It reinforces it. Africa knows this story too well. Colonial structures were justified as order. Control was framed as stability, and exploitation was disguised as development. Africa cannot afford to repeat history under a new name. So this is the real moment of truth. Is this the time for African nations to unite and build their own security, diplomatic, and conflict resolution institutions? Institutions funded by Africans, led by Africans, serving African interests. If Africa can mobilize resources for external systems, then Africa can mobilize resources for itself. Peace must not be rented. Dignity must not be purchased. Sovereignty must not be negotiated with a price tag. The Board of Peace may move forward or it may fail, but its proposal has already done something powerful. It has exposed the inequality in global governance. Africa must decide whether to continue buying access to power or finally building its own power. This is not just about Trump. This is not just about money. This is about Africa's future position in the world. And the world is watching.
Yes, here we are. Greetings to you all, family, brothers and sisters. Hopefully you're okay and doing well. As you heard, President Donald Trump has proposed a global board of peace. Countries asked to pay $1 billion for permanent seats, full control to rest with the United States of America. Is this a new organization to replace United Nations Security Council? Or US is seeking new structure, maybe after seeing that United Nations has failed? What does this mean? So Trump administration has reportedly proposed the creation of a new international body called the Board of Peace, which would function as a global decision-making forum aimed at conflict prevention, security coordination, and geopolitical stability. Unlike the United Nations or other multilateral institutions, this board would be directly led and controlled by the United States of America under President Donald Trump. So is this a new way to replace UN Security Council? Will African countries join this board? Do we have amount to pay? $1 billion? Do we have such amount to pay? And what if these powerful nations will join? Will Africa join? So let me focus on this $1 billion price tag. Countries that want a permanent seat, why a permanent seat on this powerful board, would be required to contribute at least $1 billion in the first year. This payment would be treated as a commitment fee toward peacemaking operations, diplomatic mediation, and security infrastructure. Only nations able to meet this financial threshold would qualify for long-term influence in the body's decision. Trump's role and the authority. President Trump, maybe he would be in power for 4 years. What if after Trump? Let us look under this proposal of Trump. President Trump would serve as a chairman. It means the President of the United States of America will serve as a chairman of a board of peace. He would personally approve or reject new members. So you see, South Africa will not be included, because if Trump will be a chairman, of course, he has the power to reject or to refuse new members. He would oversee and control all funds and operation. No resolution would pass without US approval. You see, in short, the board would operate under American leadership, with Trump holding decisive power. So what does this mean? Special privilege for big contributors. Countries that pay the full $1 billion in the first year would receive permanent or extended membership, be exempted from terms limits, gain long-term voting power and diplomatic leverage, have priority access to security coordination and strategic negotiation. Small contributors or later joiners would face rotation seats and limited influence. What is this, brothers and sisters? And why this is controversial? Supporters say it would create faster, strong global peace structure. It would reduce bureaucrats seen in the UN. It would place global security in the hands of nations willing to invest seriously. Critics argue peace should not be bought. So we cannot pay $1 billion US for the peace. Poor nation would be excluded. That's what I think about Africa. The structure centralized too much power in one country. It risks learning global diplomacy into a pay-to-play system. The big question is this a bold new way to enforce global stability, or the privatization of world peace under American command? As debate grows, one thing is clear: the proposal would dramatically reshape how international power, security, and diplomacy are organized in the modern world. So I see this is maybe a new way to replace or to move away from UN Security Council. Because in the UN Security Council, there's China, there's Russia, there's France, there's UK. So right now, America wants to move away from those countries who are opposing. We have seen these countries opposing the US in many things. So US right now, I think, need to find a new platform where US can dictate and direct things. You know, when Trump said he want to make America great, he want America to control the world in all sectors. So I think that's why President Trump has come with this idea. Will African countries accept this idea? And if it's true, we Africans, are we waiting to join, or we have to create our own security body if possible? So this is a question that we have. But all in all, family, that's what is going on. Donald Trump is proposing a peace, a global body of peace. And of course, I've seen the King of Jordan has been invited to join, and of course to participate. But what about others, and why this is selective? And I think it is time for Africa to wake up. The world is not for the weak. The world is for power. So as we are waiting, we are being dominated. The way we tolerate, the way we become dominated. So this is our time, Africa, to come together and unite. So if you have something to share with us, please do so through the comment section, and I'll continue to do more researches on this matter to fall and to see what is the main issue behind this the global body of peace. So I think, as I said, Africa, we need to wake up to create our own board, to create our own institutions that will be strong in protecting the interest of
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa.